If you like to make your NFL games a little bit more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast. We are presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. And yes, we are, I guess, widely considered the #1 NFL betting podcast, which is pretty cool. Love those of you that check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. We are getting to NFL bets today. In fact, a lot of NFL bets because we're recording this show a little bit earlier because Steve and I both taking some time away. So you're not going to hear anything about the NBA Finals, nothing about the Stanley Cup Final. We gave that to you last week. We're going to do NFL bets, how to bet the first couple weeks of the NFL season now, some resources you can utilize to bet NFL season win totals now, as well as get to some email questions, which reminds me, before I forget, we're down to the last 3 email questions. I used to have like 20 of these from you guys. So any question you've ever had for Steve about the numbers, about strategies, whatever, get them to me. Ross@RossTucker.com. I can assure you we are going to get to your email question in the next 2 months. I can assure you. Ross@RossTucker.com. As a reminder, if you take advantage of one of our sponsors, you actually go to the top of the list. So we'll get to your question next week, which is cool. Speaking of cool, we got some major news coming up for this season. You guys are going to love it. You're going to be so fired up about it. I'm not ready to reveal it yet. I got to cross some T's, dot some I's. But anyway, it's going to be our best season ever by a lot. And our biggest season ever. There's a hint. There's a tease. Our biggest season ever. The star of the show is Steve Fezzik. You can check him out on social media at Fezzik Sports and only at Fezzik Sports. He's hilarious. He's very opinionated. He'll tell you the people that are idiots. He'll tell you the people that are good. He'll tell you the people you should follow on social media. He'll tell you the places to go in Vegas, the places not to go in Vegas. He'll bash legislators in Illinois. He's actually a really entertaining follow at Fezzik Sports. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL on social. We are at Ross Tucker Pod, which is probably the best way to know when the shows are ready. At Ross Tucker Pod is a great way to know because Jack posted as soon as the shows are posted. You should certainly subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Turn those notifications on so that you actually can watch or listen to the show before everybody else, before the lines change, because I am convinced that this show moves markets. We've got a lot of evidence of that over the years. By the way, Steve, before we dive into it, how about you last week? Your one NFL, you had I think you might have had bets on 6 different sports last week, which was amazing. But your one NFL bet for week 1, you wanted to take a road dog, division dog. So you took Carolina over Jacksonville. And I'm so clueless or trust you so much, I don't even sit there to think, wait a minute. Carolina's in the NFC South. Jacksonville's in the AFC South. Steve, not only are you making us look bad, you're making me look. I call Panthers and Jags games, and I'm just going along with it. I didn't really care that much because I didn't think. But then you're talking about divisional dogs, dummy. What are we doing here, Steve?
Yeah, it's not an 8-team division, the NFL South. Darn it. Hey, this is 100% on me. And I tweeted about this. If you're going to do 8 different media hits a week and you're only going to say 2.5 stupid things and you're me, that's okay. I mean, you're going to misspeak every now and then. It's funny how all those teams really should be in the same division. Of course, it's not a divisional dog, but what's more significant? If you took my advice and bet plus 3.5 with Carolina, you locked in a number that no longer exists. So which would you rather have? Someone who can name every single player or someone who actually wins in their sports betting?
That number's gone?
Oh, yes.
Wow. See, that's the thing. I'm just telling you guys, enough people listen or watch this show now that when Steve does something like that, when Steve says, I like Carolina plus the 3.5, that's a great number. Enough people go and bet it that day that they move the number. So that's why you need to subscribe and you need to turn notifications on and be one of the first people to listen or watch youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Okay, so I know, Steve, over the course of the next couple months, we'll get to some of your games of the week, right? Week 3, week 4, week 5. You go through, you look for teams in spots that you like or don't like for whatever reason. A lot of it has to do with the rest disparity, the bad spots that we talk about with a guy like Warren Sharp. People need to go back and listen or watch that episode. Let's talk, though, about week 1 and week 2. Are the week 1 lines kind of toast already, or is there still some value to be had?
A little bit of both. And when the current lines are toast, it doesn't mean the closing numbers will be toast, because sometimes the public will come in and overbet a favorite and you'll get value on the dog, but not now at post. So we wait for some of those line moves. But one way I think we got to jump on right now, had an epiphany. Shout out to my buddy, the Hitman, who kind of alerted me to this. You know, the Vikings are better than the Bears. I don't think I'm on an island there. And they're playing each other, and the Vikings are the underdog. Monday Night Football, week 1. And the Vikings are the underdog, catching points plus 1.5. So immediately I said, I got to fire in this. I got to take the Vikings plus the 1.5. And of course, I love teasing through the 3 and 7. So it's a great teaser to tease Minnesota up to that plus 7.5. I need a dancing partner. Well, a good basic strategy one is Denver is hosting Tennessee and their rookie quarterback, Cam Ward. So I paired it with Denver from minus 7.5 down to minus 1.5.
I love that bet. That is, I know we don't get graded for the bets we make this time of year, but that would be a best bet, and that would be one you could grade Steve and I on, because I wholeheartedly agree with both those. I would be surprised if the Broncos lose to the Titans at home in the opener, and love the Vikings getting 7.5. Now, I think the jury is out on J.J. McCarthy, but because we haven't seen him play. However, what we've seen from Caleb Williams is very up and down, and I guess we have that much faith in Kevin O'Connell. I mean, he was the coach of the year last year for a reason. You would think he'll have McCarthy ready, especially for that opener, with the Bears not exactly sure how the Vikings will use McCarthy. I mean, I'm sure it's similar to what they did with Darnold last year. Those guys actually remind me of each other. Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, eerily enough. But I just think the unknown, although I guess the Bears have some unknown with Ben Johnson as a new head coach and what he'll do with Caleb Williams too. They both will kind of have some, be hiding some things for that first game, Steve.
And someone said, Fez, are you sure you want to tease a rookie quarterback? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm teasing a second-year quarterback. It's fine.
Is that how you look at McCarthy?
Yes.
Okay. Well, listen, he was there. I mean, he played in a preseason game against the Raiders. He was there all year. He certainly should be further ahead than other rookies are at this time. Man, I absolutely love that week 1 bet, Steve. That's awesome. And I love that we're already getting involved with the teasers, which have been very, very good to us over the years. The amount of people that come up to me and say, I didn't know what a teaser was. I've gotten into teasers because of you and Steve. It's really cool. It really is cool.
You know what's more cool is DraftKings has held the line and still 2-team NFL 6-point teasers, minus 120. Can't play them anymore in Vegas. Minus 120 no longer exists at any sports book in Vegas, and DraftKings still has it. So shout out to DraftKings for keeping those favorable odds to the players.
I didn't realize it. What are all the odds in Vegas?
Anywhere from minus 125 to minus 140 now. And I love Circa Sports. Circa won't give you 6 points; they give you 5. So just unteasable, impossible
Wait,
to win.
Circa won't give you 6 points?
Nope, don't want that.
I don't understand. Why wouldn't they just give you the 6 points since that's what the teasers are and just go up to minus 140?
That's what most other books do, and they wanted to hold the line on the pricing, and so they just won't give you as many points.
Wow. I'm a little surprised that, I mean, they all must be losing, Steve, for them to have done that. Like they must all figure out that the Wong teasers are killing them for them to either have the price go up or what Circa did. I'm a little surprised DraftKings hasn't, if that's the case.
They were getting killed. Remember, teasers 20 years ago, even money teasers were 6-point teasers were at even money, minus 100, and they lost. And then they were minus 110, and they lost a little. And then it was minus 120. And when I say they lost, they're losing to the pros. You know, they're making money in the aggregate, and they just don't want anyone to win. Well, these books, they don't want. So they moved it up, and now the pros don't play them anymore in Vegas.
I was just going to ask, at what point, Steve, what's the number where, because there might be other people in other books or people in different localities or whatever, at what point is it no longer worth doing? Is minus 125 still okay?
No.
Or at what point do you not do it anymore?
Minus 120 is the stopping point. And what's interesting, Ross, is that people say, oh, what's the difference, minus 120 versus minus 130? To draw an analogy, if you charge an extra 10 cents a vigorous, that's like an extra 4.5% for the casino hold. So if you look at that in terms of blackjack, we talk about short paying someone with blackjack at 6 to 5. That's like a 1.4% haircut. So imagine playing a blackjack game where if you got a blackjack, you broke even. You didn't even make any money. That's kind of the equivalent of paying an extra 10 cents in vig. And it really shows, how onerous a tax that is.
More great stuff right after this. Gosh, I love Labatt Blue Light. I hope you guys do as well. It's by far the best tasting light beer. Tell me one that's better. And right now, if you go to rewards.labattusa.com, they're literally giving you merchandise just for doing what you should be doing anyway, which is buying and drinking Labatt Blue Light. This is a win, win, win. Speaking of that, I wasn't paying attention to the Illinois thing that went down last week. But I saw you posting about it. What are they doing? I mean, I know that only relates to the Illinois people, but I'm still curious about it.
So the Illinois legislature, they didn't want to copy what works for everyone else. They need some more revenue. Fine. Okay, so there's a federal tax on every sports bet that you make in the United States, and that's 0.25%, and the operator pays it. Circa pays it. DraftKings pays it, FanDuel pays it, etc. So you never see it as a better, but in their infinite
25 cents.
It a 0.25%.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay, so it's a percent of what you wager. So if you wager $10, it's basically nothing. But if you wager 10,000, it's a whole lot. But Illinois wants to tax each and every bet made, Ross, to the tune of a quarter for every bet you make up to a certain point. And then later in the year, they're going to charge 50 cents, the operator, for every bet that someone makes. So think about this. Now, the operators in Illinois are going to be forced to have high minimums. You can't allow someone to bet $2 on something when the government is going to charge you 50 cents on that wager. You'll go bankrupt if someone bets $2 over and over and over and over again a zillion times. So basically, the legislature of Illinois is forcing operators to raise their minimums up to like $10 or $20 because of this silly legislation.
Why don't they just make it a percentage like everybody else?
Because they're stupid. It's unbelievable that like a sharp fifth grader that did a modicum of research would land on. Of course, it should be the same, just a flat percentage of the wager.
But by the way, they're not gaining more revenue here. They'd gain more revenue if there was a percentage because of people that bet more money.
Not to mention, it's basically a tax on the underprivileged and the people betting the least amount. It makes 0 sense.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. All right. You do have a couple week 2 bets I want to get to. All right. Let's go to week 2. Give me a bet.
Let's go to New Orleans. So week 1, New Orleans is a 6-point underdog already against Arizona. Week 2, New Orleans is hosting the 49ers. Well, the Niners are significantly better than Arizona, and the Niners are laying 7. And I think, Ross, there's nothing but there's been a tsunami of money against New Orleans in the season win marketplace. They're down to 5 wins. It's looking like, I don't care if it's going to be Rattler, Hayner. It's probably going to be Tyler Shuck, the rookie quarterback. I can't even pronounce his name. And I think that line is just going to keep moving. I'm going to lay the 7 on the 49ers.
Ooh, okay. So you think, based on how things play out week 1 or even going up to that point, that people will realize, okay, the Niners are back, the Saints stink, this line should be higher?
Yes, so let's get in front of it.
Well, I'll wait till it goes to 7.5, and then I'll tease it down to -1.5. All right. What about, do you have anything else for week 2?
Yeah, here's a total that makes no sense to me. Seattle with the downgraded quarterback against the Steelers, who still have no quarterback. Whoopi Rudolph, where's Rodgers? When's he going to show up? The total's 42.5. How is this total 42.5? How are these teams going to get into the mid-40s? I'm going under the 42.5.
Would that change if Rodgers signed with the Steelers?
No, it's baked in. This total has to assume that Rodgers is playing. If for some reason Rodgers doesn't play for the Steelers, it is going to dive bomb down, and that total is going to be 38.5, not 42.5.
How much of a downgrade do you think Geno Smith to Sam Darnold is for Seattle?
I got Geno Smith just a little bit of a better than average quarterback. Sam Darnold just a shad worse than average. It's about a 1-point downgrade, but keep in mind it's week 1, so there's going to be a further downgrade because Darnold has to get used to the system, etc.
Got it. Okay. We didn't talk about this, but I'm curious, Steve. In terms of the season win totals, you and I are both obviously fans of Dr. Chow and the services that they provide at sportsinjurycentral.com, sixscore.com for short. It's like everything else that you do in life, right? You're looking for every little edge you can, and you stack all little edges. Well, Dr. Chow and his staff, sixscore.com, they have those little edges with the injury information. And there are guys, Billy Walters, yourself, that they use these guys, sixscore.com, religiously to get the extra edge that they need that's been proven to be a difference maker. Heck, Belichick was on their show a couple weeks ago, and he said, you guys do a great job. Belichick uses sportsinjurycentral.com to get the injury information, or at least he knows that they do a great job. I'm sure he was using them. So my question is, I haven't even looked lately to see what NFL preview information they have, Steve, but is there info out there that we should be taking action on for week 1 or their season win totals?
Absolutely. Yeah, SICscore.com. Absolutely. You should be subscribing and getting that information. I did catch the Belichick interview. I was looking for his girlfriend. It's like wrestling. It's like if you're going to watch Randy the Macho Man Savage, you got to see the lovely Elizabeth. Where's Elizabeth? Maybe the next time. Bottom line is they've got all their rankings 1 to 32, most injured, least injured, and it's a little counterintuitive. If you have a team that's super healthy last year, probably not going to be as fortunate this year. So that's a team you want to tend to look to fade. The healthiest teams, according to Dr. Chow and his crack staff, including Taylor, Baltimore, Atlanta, Minnesota, and Philly. Those were the 4 healthiest teams. Now, here's what's interesting. One of those 4, Philly, your Eagles, Ross, don't know if you saw this, major move in the marketplace recently. Money coming in on under 11.5 wins for those Eagles. I think a big part of that is the feeling, well, they were a pretty healthy team, very healthy team last year. maybe not so healthy this year. By contrast, the three most unhealthy teams last year, Carolina, the most injuries, followed by the 49ers, followed by New England. So those would be teams we're going to look to selectively bet on. On, because those teams should be healthier this year.
Yeah, well, listen, you talked about Carolina last week. We talked about the Niners earlier today in this show. So that makes a lot of sense. It is weird. It's not as formulaic as you would think. You know, the Eagles have been really healthy back-to-back years, actually, right? Maybe even 3 years in a row. But I wonder if that means they're due, because they've also played a lot of playoff games, right? 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. Don't go anywhere. Got to pay some bills real quick. All right, you know what? Want to know what I'm into these days? Smirnoff and like hydration drinks, like that mix, like Smirnoff with like a Gatorade Zero, or Smirnoff with any type of recovery drink. It's perfect because I'm getting what I want from the Smirnoff and I'm getting hydrated at the same time, which is amazing. Smirnoff is the world's #1 vodka. It is an official vodka partner of the NFL. And by the way, official vodka partner of this show, maybe more importantly. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer. Head over to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. All right, let's get to an email question. One of my favorite things that we do is emails from you guys. As a reminder, we're going to get to a bunch over the next couple of months before the NFL preseason games. So keep sending them. Ross@rosstucker.com. They do get read and responded to. It's great content for us. This is from Lou. Love your show. Your guidance has been awesome. Helped me tons. I don't have a lot of experience in football wagering other than with my friends. All right. This year I began putting some dollars in my account. It's money I'm prepared to lose, but obviously I'd like to win. Here are my questions. Man, people ask the same question all the time, Steve. We know the answer to this, but maybe they don't listen to the show. Is it bad to buy points to make the odds favorable, such as going from +2 to +3.5? He uses an offshore book, which he should not use. He should use DraftKings and use the code Ross, but whatever. He uses an offshore book. Maybe he's in a state where it's still not legal. I've had good luck buying points to get me to a favorable spot, such as from +2 to +3.5. The payouts go down, but the safety goes up, and it gives me confidence to win. I've done well doing this, but I fear this is a bad strategy based on your guidance. It is, right?
It is bad strategy. And of course, DraftKings should be one of your core books that you have. I'm never going to discourage someone from having multiple books, but DraftKings is a must if you have access to. The problem with buying the points is that you get overcharged by every book because they know exactly how much it's actually worth. And my friends there's a site called Unabated Sports, Captain Jack Andrews, and they'll tell you exactly to the decimal point how much all these points are worth. If you're really interested, doesn't matter. If, by example, but if I say play an under 42.5 and it drops to 42, don't buy the half point and play under 42.5 minus 120 because you want to get the number I got. Just play the under 42 and lay the $1.10 and say, I didn't get quite as good a wager, but don't try to force the same wager and pay lots more in extra vig. So bottom line is basic strategy, don't buy points.
And I think that this is going to be a similar answer, Steve, but the second part of his question was, is it a bad strategy to use teasers that do not follow the Wong approach? I like to use teasers because it makes a pick more obvious and allows me to bet on games I wouldn't normally touch.
It's a great question. It's covered. I know Stanford Wong, worked with him. He wrote Sharp Sports Betting. Read the chapter in that book. It still holds up today, explaining why you should not tease non-Wong teasers. However, if you are hell-bent on making bets like that, what you want to do, Ross, is instead of playing the teaser, go into your menus that DraftKings has and bet. You can bet an alternative spread. So let's say you want to bet a team that was, that's currently an 11.5-point dog and you want to get extra points. Go to the alt spread and bet them plus 17.5, because then you can play them at like minus 240. You'll get a better price than putting them into a teaser, because the implied price on each leg on a 2-team 6-point NFL teaser when laying minus 120, that's like laying minus 280 on each of the 2 legs. Trust me, that's what the math is. So look towards the alternative spreads and just play a 1-team bet.
Got it. Yeah, Lou read a lot about Wong teasers. I don't know if he actually read the book, but he said he read a lot about Wong teasers. I love it, Lou. Thank you for the email question. It looks like I still have email questions, Steve, left from Mike and by the way, Mike has a question about Wong teasers. And then, this is crazy. He says, can you elaborate why you should only play them at minus 120? I just asked his first question. So, Mike, hopefully next week we'll get to your second question. Reginaldo has a question as well, but that's it. So if you think you've asked a question, I don't have it. Ross at RossTucker.com. Follow him at Fezzik Sports. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. We're at Ross Tucker Pod. We're very popular on YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Big things coming this season. Big things coming next week. Other than that, good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money this week.
To Even Money. Make sure to also check out the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.